Hello, Elaine. Yes, everything is okay this time, and I am so sorry for last Sunday, but this is Tornado Alley in May for you guys. And if you live in the same area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The thing was that this time it wasn't storms, it was floods. I mean, we're on the flood watch, but there were some areas where it just poured. And I'm not talking about big areas, but smaller areas. And some of the stuff got already messed up from during the storms. So it was a mess. And my power didn't come until, I think it was like 4 o'clock. Something like that. Anyway, so hello Elaine, hello Sharon, and I'm going to talk about, because I've had, and I tried to explain during several of the lives, the whole idea with textures versus stamps when doing a mica shift. And it is something that is quite important, because there are several things that you need to keep in mind whenever you decide to do a mica shift. And number one, you need obviously a pearlescent or metallic polymer clay. That is the only one that is going to work with. And I'm sorry that I just noticed that my fingernail polish is starting to chip off. I've been in the garden all day. The quality of the polymer clay is very important, and I'm not talking about the brand, or it's how well your polymer clay is conditioned, because it has to be very, very well conditioned. The second thing about doing a mica shift effect is the blade, and I cannot talk enough and recommend enough more of these blades. You can get them both on PolyClay play, and that PolyClay play you get them faster and cheaper, and you get a set of, it's just below $5 of an 8-inch one and a 4-inch one that's perfect for cutting cane slices. But what happens with these are super thin, they are super flexible, and they are very, very sharp. So when you handle them like this, you have to be careful, especially when you get them right out of the little thing they come in. The other thing, I personally use Armor All to make sure that the blade will not stick, because some of the things that pertain to stamped mokumegane are valid for the mica shift, but in the case of mica shift, there's more boo-boos that you can make, because you know how when you do the stamp mokumegane and you come and shave nicely, sometimes you might get a dip that shows like a little line, which in a mokumegane is just fine, but here it's going to show as a dip. So you might have to start all over, which when it's, that's the only good thing about the mica shift, that if you mess up, you just put the clay back in the machine and you start all over, nothing gained, nothing lost. So as I said, I'm using Armor All to allow the blade to slide easier, instead of, because the dips usually happen when your blade, the clay starts clinging to your blade and doesn't allow it to advance smoothly. So I know that Armor All is kind of hard to find in other areas, or in your area it might be known as something different. I know that in some countries it can be found only at gas stations or auto stores, but it is the original Armor All. So it's the stuff that you kind of shine your dashboard, and if your OCD is like me, also your side mirrors and stuff. But it works beautiful as a non-stick solution. Now, this being said, and I talked before about the technique of shaving. Some people prefer to shave. Now let's say that my clay is here and this is my blade. Some people prefer to shave by bending the blade and shaving in small sections. I personally prefer to try to get it all in one, and I hold my thumb. So let's say this is the tile the clay is on, and I hold my thumbs like this, and I try to maintain the same distance all over. Of course, you can come later with a more spot. Hi Darla, hi Karen. Spot shave, but that is very important. The other thing that is very important on your blade, and I showed this before, on your blade, and you cannot, honestly, you cannot discover it unless you look at it with a magnifying glass, or you have already used it and messed up your mica shift. Do not keep your blades all together in one, because a lot of times we just put our blades in like in a pen holder kind of mug thing. Unless you have a blade protector, do not put them like this. Why? Because they are going to kind of connect with each other and kick each other, and there will be minuscule dents in the sharp area, and they are very, very tiny, maybe like 1/10 of a millimeter. But because we are working with mica shift, they are going to leave a line, so you don't want that to happen. So this would be the thing about the technique itself. And if you did not, let me just link an older video of mine. Of course, if you don't do the F in the mica shift, it might come up with something different. But I explained in an older video of mine with all kinds of, oops, shut up, with a little bit of drawing of minnows and stuff and how we obtain that. And if you haven't watched it because it's a little bit older, this is it. And that's where I explain exactly how that mica shift effect happens. Now let's get to the other part of it. What do you want? What do you prefer? What should you choose? Should you use textures or should you use stamps? The whole thing is, I had a friend once who was extremely irritated because every time she would ask me a question about polymer clay, like, would you do this? And pretty much every time I would answer with, well, it depends, because everything depends on what you are trying to achieve. So there are regular stamps, like these. And then there are inverse stamps that are pretty much the stuff that's made for liquid clay. Hi, Gayleen. See, like this. This I got from PolyClay. That's a very pretty lace, exactly lace thing. And you can do lace with liquid clay. But the main thing is that regular stamps will push the design in the clay, so you will have to shave the raised areas that are remaining after using the stamp, while with the inverse stamps, they are more like molds for liquid clay, and they work also with resin. You will shave the raised area. So what to keep in mind: if the design on whatever you're using is pushed in the material of whatever the stamp or texture is made of, it's going to be raised on the polymer clay. If it is coming out of the material the stamp is made of, it will show in. And one of the things that give me just a second to get on my one of the I got the wrong link here. One of the things that I like the most, you know, that my most favorite texture makers are cool tools, right? And their textures are the best because they are exceptionally good quality. They are very, very well defined. The detail is exquisite because they are actually textures and stamps and stuff made for precious metal clay. So they are made for that clay that's made out of silver and gold and copper and stuff. So one thing that you can notice with the cool tools, I'm trying to go, okay, so this is my Amazon influencer store, and all these gray ones, they are all cool tools. And on some of them you will notice, let me just find one. You will notice that they are like, see this swirly gig, this one is the regular swirly gig and this one is the embossed. What does it mean? Look, that's exactly the same pattern, only that in one of them the pattern is in the material of the texture, and on the other one it is coming out. So in one case it will leave the imprint, and in the other case it will leave an outprint. The same goes for this plume. You have the plume and then you have the plume embossed. And they have many like this. They used to have pretty much on everything the regular and the embossed. So like, see here, waves, and some of them they are called embossed and some of them they are called reverse. See, so getting back to our thing, let's go back to creating actual stuff. The other thing that you have to make sure when you choose your whatever, if it doesn't matter if you choose a stamp or if you choose a texture or a mold, a resin or polymer clay, liquid polymer clay mold, you have to make sure that the lines are very defined and there is no crowding of the lines. Like, for example, if I would want to use I've been using this this butterfly so much it doesn't even stay where it's supposed to. The same for these other ones. For example, if I were to use these, I would definitely never use this one, because as you can see it's too much surface that's going to get imprinted. This one is okay, this one is okay, this one is definitely not, this one is fine, this one is fine. So but they do leave a beautiful especially if you try to do something like silver style. The only thing is that obviously you're going to have to shave more than you would with an embossed one, right? So we would have this, and I'm going to go with all of them so you can see the differences. Now I realize I should have made the same color. I should have prepared the same color polymer clay. The other thing that you can get this type of corners and things, and they make beautiful bezels. If you do costume type jewelry, and a lot of us are very, very fond of that. But if you do costume type jewelry, you can make absolutely gorgeous bezels using mica shift. And I thought of starting just with that. Let me get these away. So your acrylic block, and you've seen me using the acrylic block many times. Essentially, the acrylic block is not for pressing and doing stuff to polymer clay. The acrylic block is for stamps originally and initially. So let me see, which of them do I want to use. Let's use this one. So you put the sticky part on the acrylic block. Then I'm going to give it a whiff of Armor All. And then apply. And why you want to use the acrylic? Because if you would use your fingers, you might touch. And that's not something that you want to happen. And there we go. I got a good imprint of it. So let's get this back. And do a really quick shave of this thing. So I can show you how you can use it as a bezel. So as you know, I always have ready a paper towel, with Armor All, so I can wipe my blade at all times. Finnegan is feeling unloved. He's in the bedroom trying to express his displeasure. So I'm going to go again. Because I have to do all this, remember I said that you have to shave a lot more than when you have a raised pattern. And I have one more pass to do. Maybe two. I said maybe 2. Because usually towards the end it starts sliding. And I need this little spot here. Now see, I slightly bent my blade for a more spot shaving. And this little spot here. And there we go. Now I have this. And I chose Premo to show you all this, and these are all kinds of scrap clay. Remember I told you that I usually try to sort my scrap clay color on color. And I can go with this. Oh my goodness, so much wailing. I don't know if you can hear him, but he is all so upset. So upset. And I'm going to kind of follow the outline here. And you can do the same thing with lines. So there we go. I have this. And you can easily use this for a square cabochon. Let's say, I don't know if I have a square cabochon here. I might not. I don't always have cabochons laying around my work area. Let me get this kinda, sorta, so you can do something like this and make a half, or you can use it like I did here. As you can see, it's a half mica, half cane design. But this kind of stuff can, I'm sorry, allergies. You can use it for all kinds of frames and cabochons and bezels and all kinds of things. So this would be one. This is how it looks like with a regular stamp. Let's go to the lace stamp of the liquid clay mold. In this case, it's exactly backwards, so we have to do only the raised areas will be shaved. And I'm going to choose this. Now, generally, these are kind of softish. They are more on the soft side. So you kind of have to be careful when you do the roller, so they wouldn't start shifting on you. But in this case, you can, depending on how sure your hands are, you can actually use more of a spot-on shaving. Yeah, I don't think I'm very good with this. I'm going to try though. Let me try once again. Maybe maybe I'm going to try with a different one. Let me try with the Cool Tools one because it's much easier. So with Cool Tools, if you want to get textures that can be heated, if you can, so you can use them with liquid clay or to bake your clay in them, only the ones that are this blue are actually heat safe. Okay. I hope this I can do. As I said, I've been working in the garden, so my hands are not exactly perfectly rested. Give me a second, I need to get Finnegan, because he's going to whine there. What is it, baby? What is it? He wants attention. Finnegan wants attention, that's why he's crying. He wants a lot of attention. Let's see. You can barely see him properly because he's so white. Okay, I'm trying to get him in the picture. Yes, he's so white and so beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. Finnegan, that's why he whines when he feels unloved. He goes and just sits in a corner and cries. You okay now? Can I put you down? Can I put you down? Did you get enough love? Let people see your eyes. Yes, you're so precious. And of course I got a whole bunch of hair on me. I did brush him today, no worries. Hi Lydia. Okay, I'm not sure how well I did this, but I can still do it so you can see how I did. Yeah, he needs loving. He needs a lot of loving. And as I was outside, he didn't get his morning lovies. Because he has, at one point, I have to stop everything I'm doing and go lay down on the couch. Turn on the TV and lay down on the couch so he can sit on my belly and watch TV with me. That's the highlight of his day. So when he decides I haven't paid him enough attention, he doesn't feel loved, and he goes and he just goes and he does those heart-wrenching meows, like he goes and he cries for a long time. He has really long meows. He's very upset. Okay, so as I said, on this one I'm going to do more spot on, so less perfectly straight. I'm going still to do some straight, but it's more spot on kind of. And as you can see, I'm not bending too much. I'm bending just a little bit, so that I can grab only these raised areas. That's going to give that. In the old times, this was, let me see, do we have any people here in the chat who have been working clay since the 80s and 90s, or even before that? Do you remember how this technique used to be called in the old days? I'm going to wait because I know there's that delay. chat that I always set up the live videos that way so people don't have to wait for buffering if they don't have a super fast internet connection. And these ones, this kind of stuff you can use for, of course, again for bezels, because you can just cut a hole in it. But you can use as a bracelet bangle design, even as cabochons, even as is for earrings. And of course they are the ones that are more patterned. I'm going to show one here after I'm done with this. So I guess nobody answers. It was actually called holographic because it gave the illusion of 3 dimensions, so it was called either 3D or holographic. You can see that in older polymer clay books, the ones that were published like in the 80s and the 90s, but it was most of the time actual. But the thing is that during those times we did not have these. So the very first mica shift effects were simply done by sanding, and we did not have pedicure ones and other stuff, so it was all done by hand. So I'm gonna just feel, because at this point it's a little bit difficult to figure out which is which. And as a little trick, if you do any kind of mica shift, my advice to you is to sand it a little bit, even if you're applying resin over it, because no matter what you do, it's going to still have a little bit of layer of flat mica particles. But if you do sand it, it's going to get rid of those, and you'll have only the beautiful designs of just your pattern. It's going to be more popping out, in other words. So this is what you'd get, and this is perfectly flat, but it does give the whole feeling of it being non-flat. Okay, then, as I said, there are some that are way more, and you've seen me using this over and over and over. It's one of my most favorite textures for mica shift. I don't know if you watched, it was a tutorial I did for Christmas, and this got really messed up. What in the world? A tutorial I did for Christmas with mica shift, and this was when they had Premo. I don't know, they only came one time with this on the market, and they didn't afterwards with this green. This is all in mica shift, various things, but this is made with this specific texture, and this is with the screw, the big threaded rod. that I have. So you can see how it can just look like some kind of just gemstones, even if you cannot tell the pattern. But you can use mica shift as by itself, just with this. Okay, then there are some others, and I shouldn't have started with this because I knew that I had it prepared for something else, and nevertheless I started with this one. Give me just 30 seconds. Now, if you want to use, and it's absolutely fabulous, if you want to use one of the more delicate PMC precious metal clay textures, like there's this one from PolyClay, which can be used as is, and I'm going to just, no, not cut first. I'm going to first apply it and then cut, so I can show you the difference. Okay. You just have to make sure that you do a good imprint of it. And to show you the difference, you can do, as you can see, it looks very much like metal, and you can come on top of it and use the stuff that I thought I had brought here, but apparently I didn't. Just a second. Or I did, but got lost in here somewhere. I'm sorry, I thought I had it in the waxes. Or you can just put, I'm gonna show you with this other one. I'm gonna show you with this. So let's go first to do the mica shift on this. So those earrings, Christmas earrings, of course, you can do them in other colors. And you can make, remember that I've been telling you, you can always make your own pearlescence using translucent clay, some of that clay softener, and mica powder. And my most favorite, I've always said my most favorite is from nurturesoaps.com. The micas, I think I have them on my bookmarks. Let me see. Now I have it on my, give me just a second. Nurture soap, not nurture soaps. Okay, so if you go here and you go to mica powders, and what I like about them is that they have actual colored mica powder. It's not mica powder with pigment, because I said it before, natural mica comes only in a silverish grayish and in a silverish goldish hue. all the other colored micas, they are commercially made. I mean, they are manufactured. But with these guys, I discovered these guys when I was doing all my experiments for the Faux Peter site, and I couldn't find an actual good red mica, and I didn't want to go into the whole Scalpy thing, the whole Scalpy 3 thing. And these guys were the only ones who actually had a red mica. And they also have some beautiful, beautiful greens, and I used their stuff when I made, it's one of my paid tutorials with the chatoyant malachite. But you can find a green, and actually they can also, so you can select just those colors. You can find beautiful, see, this Savage Garden looks gorgeous. And you can actually mix them a little bit. I would probably, to get that Christmas green, I would probably use the Savage Garden, like 3 parts of the Savage Garden with 1 part of the Jade Green, to add that little. And for $1.50 you get, for $1.50 you get quite a bit of sometimes they send it in whatchamacallit, in little Ziploc bags, and sometimes they send it in little jars, but I can show you how much you get. And this is a $1.50 worth of mica. You can see it's, so it's about full up to here. It's about the same quantity that you'd get in a Perlex, pretty much. I do have separate little containers, little jars that I've put my stuff in for when they send it in Ziploc bags. I guess it just depends on if they find cheap containers or not. I think that's all that is. So again, you can make your own. I promised one of these days I'll make a pearlescent live, so you can see exactly how it's going. So here you'll have to be very, very delicate, because these textures are not super raised, and they make your clay look beautiful, but in a very discreet and classy way when you do a mica shift with them, and makes them look really, really metallic. nurturesoap.com. Let me actually, no, let me not go with the custom filter. Here's the link to them. To their product, and they are very, very reliable, and also they have one of the best essential oils I've seen in a long time. I mean, obviously they are making soap supplies company, so it's quite obvious that they will have that kind of stuff. But the quality is really good. I got quite a bit of essential oils from them, because I like to make my own potpourri around the house. I do have all kinds of stuff that I dry. or I buy dry stuff and I infuse them. I spray them with the essential oil to create my most favorite thing, because I think it's healthier than... I'm a fragrances person, okay? I'm very much into fragrances. And as much as I love air fresheners, I don't think that they are that healthy. You know, I mean, it's impossible for something that's been sprayed around in the air to be super healthy. Okay, so with this one, I'm actually going to grab a caboose, and I should have one here. Okay, so this is one of my old fall Labradorite experiments. And this one, if you remember, I do have a tutorial on this. And what I'm going to do is first to find the one that has to be, is just pretty much this size, right? So I'm going to get 2 sizes up, so not this one because it wouldn't be thick enough, but the next one. And there we go. And then make sure that I get this right in the middle. And there we go. You see, it's got a very delicate, let me refocus here a little bit. Okay. It's really metallic-y looking. No, they don't sell on Amazon, and I don't have an affiliate link with them, unfortunately, Darla. But I recommend them full-hearted. Okay, now, as I said, I was going to show you the... Let me see what I got here. I got the aged brass, so let's try this on this specific thing, because I was telling you how good it is for making for metal without doing the mica shift. Alright, so going back to it, I'm going to use the same thing. Maybe this one is not that perfectly cut, but oh well. So but yeah, that faux labradorite is up. Unfortunately, I need to try and find something else because the you can try it with the interference blue, but I would recommend the ghost blue, the type, the black diamond type, not the Perlex, because it's finer and stronger than the Perlex. And you can find it in my Amazon influencer store. Okay, I'm gonna do again some refocusing. Yeah, black diamond is a very good quality mica. And there we go. See how it makes it look really like... I know I had the silver, Art Alchemy silver somewhere here, but I don't know where it went. So it's a wonderful texture to use. So anyway, and I know there was one more thing I wanted to show you. Oh yes, it was the thing with I got a question, can you do mica shift with regular molds? Okay, and yes you can, but you need to work them in a certain way, and I'm going to show you how. So first of all, I'm going to cut myself a little bit of this. So approximately to fit this. I'm just cutting to make it easier to work with. Okay, and then I'm going to place it here. And I'm going to just use this. And you can see I only use a line. I didn't use a sheet. I didn't use the whole thing. And then I'm coming back, flatten it some. And then I can go over it. I didn't press well enough, but you'll still be able to see the whole effect. This one I loaded it a little bit with too much mica. It needs some clay softener in it because it cracks. I might have to do it one more time. Hold on a second. softener in it. Just a minute, because I want to use this because of the way it is. It's a super mica-fied, super metallicized clay, and for certain things you just want more mica than usual. I did pretty much prepare it on purpose. And you can see how strong it is, because look at these folding lines, the mica shift that forms when folding. Just grabbing everything that's on the tile. It doesn't take too long. But you don't want to put a clay that's got the clay softener oozing, because it's going to start just swimming in your between your rollers in the pasta machine. Now it should behave much better. I'm gonna grab a smaller one. Hopefully it's gonna be easier. And I can first shave the extra just for the sake of it. And now I have this. And this I'm going to flatten a little bit and then do a mica shave. Yeah, that's a major thing, because sometimes they can change colors. But when you have mica powder that's made for cars, I mean, those get some heat, right? Okay, it's not well. Kind of slicing that. Nevertheless, I did a boo-boo here. Nevertheless, you can still see it. And probably needs a little bit even more clay softener. But theoretically, and you have to be more careful than what I just did now. But yeah, theoretically you can use molds to create mica. It depends how patient you are, you know. So this would be it as a general idea on how to do things, the ins and the outs. And you can do your own textures as well. Remember, many times I've shown you how to do textures, but if you want good quality mica shift, you're going to have to, some of it is more expensive, like the Cool Tools ones, but they do have the 2x4s let's see, like this one, that are cheaper than the big humongous ones. And you can use these. This is one of the waves. It's the, I think this one is the regular, not the reversed. But try to get, you're gonna have to get at least 1 or 2 good quality textures or stamps. And the other thing you need to have is good blades, and your clay always has to be very well conditioned, because if it's not very well conditioned, it's going to start clinging, it's going to do all kinds of things. But if you do, and remember, you can do the mica shift. I do have some stuff here that's a combination mica shift moku megane, as you can see. But, and this is, yeah, this is resin, but I did sand it before resining it. So there are all kinds of different color combinations that you can do. So this is also, oops, of course I dropped something. Until I drop something, there's not a good thing. This is done with a stamp, with a fern leaf stamp. So, and this was done with a stamp too. It's all with leaf stamps, it's not with a texture. But just to show you that you can do all kinds of combinations of colors of, let me see what else I have here. You know, this is silk screening. Yeah, pretty silk screening, all kinds of stuff. I told you I've been working on hopefully being able to come out with these stashes, because I don't want to go with like 3 or 4 packages. I want to go with at least 20, so people have where to choose from. But anyway, once again, sorry for last Sunday, and I hope you enjoyed this one. And I hope I was able to tell you something new during this one. And I shall see you on next Sunday. By what I looked, there doesn't seem to be any bad weather in the forecast, at least not for now. So let's hope everything will be okay. Thank you so much, and see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful, wonderful what's left of the weekend. Don't forget to thumbs up, and please don't forget to use my affiliate links, because that's kind of how I can have giveaways and buy my materials. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here with me. Bye.